I used to be in the army. I was in the old Royal Regiment of Wales for nearly 35 years. And so Remembrance is a very special time of the year for me. Now I'm the Lord Lieutenant of Gwent, and I get to carry on wearing uniform, which continues to remind me of my military heritage. This picture here is of my father. He was not a professional soldier like me. He volunteered in 1939 and served all the way through until he was wounded in France in 1944 after the Normandy invasions that followed D-Day. His medals tell the story of his war, from right to left as you look at it: the War Medal, then the Defence Medal, then the France and Germany Star, then the 3945 Star, and finally the Military Cross, awarded for bravery while he was in France after D-Day. My father never really talked about his war. People of his generation didn't. They believed that it was better to keep a stiff upper lip when talking about or remembering their experiences during the war. And he certainly would have thought it bragging if he had talked about how he won and was awarded the Military Cross. And so I have very little idea of what it was that inspired that one individual to such an extraordinary act of bravery that he was awarded the Military Cross by the King for what he did. Today, we know better. We know that it is nearly always better to talk about experiences like that. And so my challenge to you this year, when we can't have parades or special assemblies in school in the normal way, my challenge to you this year is to go and find somebody who either served or is still serving in Her Majesty's Armed Forces and talk to them about their experience of service. They may not all have fought or taken part in active operations, but they will certainly be able to tell you about how they were so tired that they felt they couldn't go any further, about how they were so cold and wet or so hot and thirsty that they felt like they were going to die, how they were so frightened that they felt they couldn't move another inch. And they'll tell you about how they worked together with some of the best bunch of mates that a man or a woman can ever have. And maybe when you talk to them, you'll get a glimmer of understanding about the qualities that underpin everything that makes up our armed forces today. Their integrity, their courage, their loyalty, the qualities that we take so much for granted, but which will give you, who have not served, something of an insight into the armed forces today. So please, go out and find somebody in your community, in your street, in your family who has served, and see if by talking to them you can learn a little bit more about the nature of war and about the nature of service. Do you remember when we hold memorial services, remembrance services, we say, "They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old"? Well, these are the ones who are left. Please go and talk to them, discover what it is that motivated them when they were in the armed forces, and in the process, understand a little bit more about what a debt this nation owes to these brave men and women over so many years in the past and in the present. We will remember them.